Hello, everybody. So, if you've been following my channel and watching my JK videos, I started something where it's called LOL, which means letters of love. So that section is made for the JKE cards. So if you're looking for something convenient to send to a colleague, I've got a section that says thank you, colleague, and also maybe to your mother. It doesn't have to be on Mother's Day, it can be any day of the week. Then browse through the JKE cards. You can find it when you Google brands by Andrea, and then you scroll down to JKE cards and then select your favorite. You can buy it and then you can send that e-card via email, or it is according to the dimensions of your cell, so your cell phone. So then you can just easily forward it to whoever you prefer to send it to. So it is original JK quotes. I am a writer, so I've written a couple of ebooks, and based on the experiences I have had, I created these quotes, thank you notes. So if you have a busy lifestyle, then you can just go and browse through those e-cards and then just to say thank you to that someone special. And under the video section, and on YouTube, you can find um, a section where I read to you LOL letters that I've received in the past. Like I said, I used to have this memory box with everything people gave me, letters, rappers. Um, I was extremely sentimental, so everything went into that memory box, and I remember nobody could touch that memory box or open that box. And then eventually I started unpacking it as I relocated and moved from place to place. I had to sort of go through it and see like what is relevant, and I decided to create digital memories instead. So I read to you some of the letters I have received. It's under the video section on YouTube. So, what I'm about to do now, I'm going to go through a photo album from back in the day, and I'm going to see like what pictures are in there, and I'll tell you a little bit about who those people are or where I was at, etc. Most of these people I don't really have much contact with anymore, but at the time they were really special to me and we had good relationships, hence the reason I took pictures. I used to have camera, like these cameras, so I didn't always take pictures on my phone, um, because I think back in the day it was those old brick phones. I think it was a 3310 I had. But as the years went on, I bought me a couple of cameras and I took cameras and I used to print the pictures. And this is why I have photo albums. And so I'm going to go through this photo album. I have a lot actually. And so I'm in the process of creating these digital memories, so I can always go back and have a look on my social channels instead of storing it all in files and books and all of those things. I think it's just more convenient. So this is the photo album. I bought this back in the day at CNA. I haven't seen a CNA around. I'm not sure if it's still around. But anyway, let's have a look. So you can see there's a Smartie box, there's a sticker. So this Smartie box, someone must have given me a box of Smarties, and I probably kept the box. Like I said, I was extremely sentimental. Then here is another letter. It says Happy New Year. I love you, laugh out loud, or LOL, with kisses, like lipstick marks. And then it says, I'm sure you know who this is from. I'm sure you know who this if from. Laugh out loud. Do not throw away. Give to Andrea. Note behind. And then the note says, I love you. Laugh out loud. So, not sure if you can see. The light is kind of. So I think this letter comes from Raylo Cosmetics. I used to work at Raylo Cosmetics. I started as a casual after school, and then I got promoted to acting manager, and then from there I was the retail manager, and I had lots of staff and casuals and all of those things. And I think I have an idea who this is from. This, I think it is one of the ladies there. Yeah, I think her name was Shiam. I'm not sure. But I think she was probably just teasing me or just trying to make me think there was a secret admirer, or whatever the case may be. Um, but anyway, let's see what's next. Over here. So this is an invitation. It says happy birthday. A special invite to Andrea. I, Giovanka Hector, extend a warm welcome invitation to you to celebrate my 17th birthday with me. Well, this Gio, she is one of my friends of mine. She is a friend of mine, an old pal of mine. We actually worked at Legit together, and that's how we met. And now she has her own family. She's married, and she's got two boys. And it says here that the invite was for her 17th birthday, so it's quite a while back. And then the address, and then obviously her contact information. Then what's next? Here's a picture. Actually, here's a seed. And I think I remember who this is from. This seed. If you watch my other LOL letters, you would know that here's a letter I read to you. It's from a little girl, or at the time she was a little girl. Her name is Tamia. She was my customer. Her sister, older sister, was actually my customer, and she used to come into the store with her sister and mom and her dad. And I used to do some makeup for her, and she was just like, she just grew fond of me. And yeah, she used to visit me every weekend when they were in the mall. I think I was at Canal Walk Mall, that mall. And yeah, so the seed says, I love you. So she gave me a letter, and there were a couple of seeds with it, and this is one of those seeds. It was many, many years back. What's next? Here's a picture. So this picture I took of my cousin Jaden. He was a small child at the time. He's now an adult. But yeah, he used to be very close with my younger brother Jean-Andre, the two of them, when they were really little, and they were just the cutest boys. But anyway, that's Jaden, my cousin. And then here's also a letter. So I recently posted or uploaded the Sunday session for Spiritual Jungle. where I tell you a story of my past where something happened and then I moved in with the aunt of mine after I called my cousin Nazarene, and this is actually her baby brother. So then once I moved in with my aunt, then she wrote me this letter as well, because now sometimes I would, like most of the time, I would look after, Jaden or my other cousin when they were younger, because I was a bit older than them. Just keep an eye on them, you know what I'm saying? So I was staying with them and she left me this note. It says, Andrea, would you please give Jaden Kellogg's, and after 5 minutes, give him the 2 syringes in the fridge. It's his medicine. Please see that he's warmly dressed. His clothes is on the machine. Please take him to Oma before you leave, which is my grandma. My grandma stayed down the road. It was Rose Road. My grandma stayed number 2 Rose Road, and we stayed on the corner, which was like, yeah, the corner house. So anyway, so she's asking me in this letter to take him to my grandma after making sure he's dressed warmly. So please take him to Oma before you leave. I'll appreciate it because Uncle Danny is going to be in a meeting. Thank you so much. Good luck on your interview, Aunt Shida. So I must have had an interview that day. I remember preparing for an interview back in the day, and also like vomiting one day when I was staying with them, of the nerves and of the preparation and all of those things. I used to put so much pressure on myself back in the day. You would know if you watch my other videos. But yeah, that letter comes from my aunt, and that's back when I stayed with them. Then here's actually another picture. It's an open back dress. Whose dress was this, by the way? This dress belonged to, I know, whose dress was this? Do you know, I think because I used to go to a lot of matric balls, I went to a few matric balls actually, and I think this dress, Gio, my friend, the one that I just read out the invitation, she gave me a couple of dresses to try on, and because someone actually invited me to the matric ball. He was 1 grade below me. His name was Mark, and I decided on a green dress. It was Gio's dress, and if I can find some pictures, I will show you how I actually looked that day for that matric ball. But anyway, this was one of the dresses I tried on, and this was in my room, in Eitzig, like by my aunt's house, which is now Jaden's room. So they were nice enough to give me Jaden's room to stay in, and I stayed there for a little bit, and until he grew up and needed his room back. So let's see what's next. Okay, this one's a bit rude. So it says, Andrea F.U. from Rydia. So back in the day on school, this was my friend. So I'm not sure why she said that, but if I kept it, it's probably wasn't it was probably just our vibe back in the day, like how we used to speak to one another, or you know, we were young and childish back in the day. So if I kept it, then yeah, I don't remember us arguing over that situation, but that is the letter she wrote me. And then over here, this is my matric ball. So I wore this champagne gold dress. Why this Kung Fu Panda stickers is everywhere, I'm not sure. But anyway, this was 2007. So this was my matric ball that I attended. I wore this. My aunt actually had this dress made for me. Um, I designed the dress. I also designed my cousin's matric ball dress, but I designed this dress, and my aunt went to the dressmaker, and my aunt, she had the lady make it for me, and it was very special. Not the aunt I was staying with, another aunt of mine, Nisha. But anyway, that's from the matric ball. And then here's another letter I found. This letter, this is from my mother. It's in like a note. It says on the back, she wrote it on this. It's probably like, you know, the pad where you get from the doctors and things like that, where you can just write down the whatever you need to the notes. So my mother is a nurse, and so she may have gotten one of those notebooks or whatever the case may be at the doctor's office where she worked. It says late low surgical instruments CC, Alcon Instruments Germany GmbH. Look. So she probably wrote it on there. Um, it says, gone to fetch the boys. Gone to fetch the boys. There's fat cook and mince in the pot. Love, mommy. Don't mess. So it says, gone to fetch the boys. There's fat cook and mince in the pot. Love, mommy. Don't mess. And she says here 3 X's, which is like 3 kisses. This letter must have been written so long ago, this note. I used to stay in Balor, and that's when we stayed together, my mother and my 2 brothers and her partner. We stayed in Balor together, and also in Cravenby. But so it must have been one of those places. But anyway, that's a letter from back then, and I kept it all these years. And so I think Alison, so this is my cousin. She used to work with at Raylo Cosmetics with me, and I think she gave me a box of Smarties here because I kept it. I kept the box. Look. And this picture was taken in Raylo. It says, why did I even keep this thing? It says France, capital Paris, language French, population 60 million, greeting bonjour. National animal is the rooster, Gallic rooster. National flower lily. Interesting food, stewed vegetables and croissants, bun. Landmark the Eiffel Tower. This is Alison taken at Raylo Cosmetics. And then this mask, I was seeing someone or dating someone, and when I worked at Legit, my manager's nephew, so um they used to invite me to their house, like the manager's house, because I was like seeing her nephew, and this was her son's birthday party. This was his mask. I still kept it all these years. And this is the movie ticket. So we went to the movies. Chipmunks. Alvin and the Chipmunks we watched. Myself and this guy Corey. You can't even see now, the ink is off already. Can you make out the Alvin and the Chipmunks? Anyway, I kept this movie ticket all these years. This was so many years ago. Like, this was when I just about matriculated, 2007, maybe 2006. And this is him. This is him. So I kept this photo. And this mask. Let me see. What is this? This is something else. It's also a movie ticket. Paro Center. There used to be a cinema house in Paro Center as well. So, but I can't see what movie this was. And someone gave me a chocolate. Aero chocolate. I'm not sure who that was. And this was also the guy I just told you about, Corey. This is his tattoo. He got this tattoo in his neck, in the back of his neck or back, like here. And then I think someone at the tattoo place, I think this was in Canal Walk, when I asked them to show me what it's going to be. how it's going to look in their language, if it's like um, translated, or how do you write Andrea in that language and Gemini. Back in the day, it was like myself and this Corey guy. He was a Gemini, I was a Gemini. I used to read this newspaper that they used to distribute at school. What was it called? Free for All. And I used to read the horoscopes like back in the day. I used to like be into those things, like just reading the horoscopes with Gemini. And but yeah, I don't do that anymore. But long ago, I used to always read it in that Free for All newspaper. And then this over here, it's an IOU. It's an IOU. It says IOU. Ask me anything. It's a day. Anytime I will agree. JP Stolte. Signed JP Stolte. So this is from a partner of mine. We were in a long-term relationship, like more than a decade, 13 years. And but this was still very, once we were just like, it wasn't that long into our relationship once we wrote this or we came up with this. It must have been some sort of game or agreement or whatever the case may be. But anyway, I have it. This is him. He was quite young. He's a couple of years older than me. Like 6 years older than me. But the two of us, we like have a lot of memories together. Like once I moved out from my aunt's place in Uitzig, I moved into a separate entrance by my grandma. That was the first time I like was sort of like independent. I was like 19. Then from there I moved in with JP, and there we were staying in a one bedroom place in Kudud. Then we moved to a two bedroom place in that same building, and then we were together all the years. We then from Kudud, where did we move to? We bought a house together in Kraaifontein, and we stayed there for a couple of years, and then we relocated to London and we stayed there. We stayed in sharing accommodation when we just arrived there, because he got a transfer from his company, gave him the opportunity, or through his company he got the opportunity to move abroad. And then I moved with him as his partner or common law spouse. And then we stayed in two apartments there after we stayed in shared accommodation. And yeah, and then it was only me that returned back to SA. Here's another picture back in the day. This is of Corey and another lady. She's sitting in the middle there between us. Her name is Megan. She also used to work at Legit. I was very shy at this time, and he was even more shy. We were like extremely shy. Here's a picture of JP and his mother. Someone gave me a chocolate. It says here, question, dairy milk, had enough, yes, no. Question. How long ago was this? So they were probably having something with regards to questions, etc. But anyway, I kept it all these years. What chocolate was this? It just says dairy milk. Question, had enough. Some campaign where they probably got an idea of how to keep people engaged. And in this steak ranches spur, it says here, congratulations, audience prize voucher. I don't know, I must have won something here. Prize voucher, I'm not sure where. I know one time myself and Allison, because we were very, very close back in the day, we like literally grew up together. Her mom's house was next to my grandma's house, and I say we are cousins, and we say we are cousins, but actually, this is how we related. Her mother and my father, no, her mother and my grandma from my father's side are cousins. Okay, so that makes her sort of cousins with my father. But anyway, for us, we always said we were family, and then my grandma stayed next door to them, also in Eitzig, and she is 1 year older than me, and we like basically grew up together. We were like best friends at the time, best pals. And yeah, she also has a family. She's got a daughter and a son. And yeah, and then there's a little note here that says Happy Valentine's Day, Andrea. So this is the memories in this photo album. I've got so many photo albums. I've got one where it's just baby pictures from back in the day. I've got a whole file where there is matric ball pictures. I think my uncle printed that for me. Or he created a CD, a music CD for me, with regards to my matric ball pictures. And so I've got a full file of those pictures in there. I've got more albums and pictures somewhere, but I'm going to make more videos. So this is under the JK brand for LOL Letters Digital Memories. Go check out the JK e-card section. Go purchase some e-cards you like. It's a convenient way to say thank you to someone you care about, someone special. And also let me know which are your favorite. And yeah, if you'd like to start a conversation, we can have a podcast with regards to those JKE cards or quotes. I've also got a blog section over there, so go read the blogs. Yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts. And do you also store pictures, or did you have something similar to a memory box or whatever the case may be? Were you sentimental back in the day? Let's connect and let me know.